For about 6 weeks now, employees have been letting their employers know that they are exposing themselves to a significant amount of liability with these vaccine mandates, and saying that, you have to be tested. If you're not going to get the vaccine, you have to be tested X amount of times every whatever X amount of days. And that's the condition of employment now. And if you don't do these things, that we are going to deprive you of your life, liberty, and security, which is a direct violation of the supreme law of Canada. And so, these notices have been going out to employers, just letting them know, hey, this is what's happening right now, and we don't want you to be exposed to this liability. We want to be able to continue working in peace. And also, in these notices, it does lay out very specifically that because these mandates and these policies that are coming out, they are inconsistent with the supreme law of Canada, it means that they have no force or effect. In other words, nobody has to do it. Nobody has to go through with this. And so because they are going through with it, and they are using authority to remove people's consent, and what does that mean? Well, they're saying, well, we're doing this because, the chief medical officer of health said that we have to, or that the health authority said we have to. That's and if you don't, you are, not going to get employed. That's removing consent. And folks, these are not vaccines; they are experiments. And if you might have a differing opinion on that, and that's fine. You're allowed to have a different opinion. But I encourage you to go look up the product monographs that are issued by the Canadian government, because they specifically say that the studies regarding long-term safety and effectiveness are still ongoing. So, when people are saying they're proven safe and effective, they are actually perpetuating a lie, and mostly because they're being stupid. And so, again, like I say, you can disagree with me on that, but if you haven't read the product monographs, your opinion on the matter is actually irrelevant, and you probably should shut your mouth, because you sound like an idiot, especially to people who are on top of things here. Now, I want to share with you a response that came from because a lot of good responses are coming. Some companies are like, oh my goodness, I had no idea that none of this had any force or effect. I had no idea that this would expose liability, that I would be exposed to liability as a result of this. And so they're actually taking back their policies and saying, we can't make this condition of employment, because that's violating your constitutional liberties. And so, but sometimes we have employers that don't respond. Well, many times they actually respond with nothing relevant to the notice of liability. That's happened, where it's like, this is in response to your notice of liability, and they actually have nothing that is related to or touching on any of the points within the notice of liability. But this one here takes the cake. This one comes from a lawyer that's been retained by a union. Her name is Leanne, and I hope she becomes famous for this, because she definitely made public her opinion that, let's see. A document called Notice of Liability has been sent to unions and management in several Alberta workplaces. In my opinion, this document has no value or place in a unionized workplace in Canada. Well, let's just talk about what this document has. Okay, the document has proof from the government of Canada that these are not vaccines, that they are experiments, they are medical experiments. And these documents also have all of the citation to the laws that apply. And this lawyer is saying that it has no value or place. So I love free speech, because it really helps us determine, where people stand. And it's great to see that this lawyer believes that the evidence of this being an experiment and the citation to law that protects people, specifically with laws regarding informed consent, and also that if the use of authority is applied to coerce someone, as in, if you don't do this, we're going to deprive you of your liberty to and security for your family. That's actually in the criminal code specifically. under the section dealing with assault. So the fact that this lawyer doesn't believe that this has any value or place in a unionized workplace in Canada, that is very, very fascinating. And thank you, Leanne, for letting everybody know that you are a complete moron. Clearly, you have no regard whatsoever for the law, and you have no regard whatsoever for what the government has to say these products are, and additionally, you have no consideration whatsoever for the union. Because, you see, the representatives that retained you, they aren't the union. No, the workers are the union. And the union is, by law, required to make sure that the individual rights of the workers are protected from policies that are unlawful and discriminatory. All right? So, yeah, I hope you become very famous as being the dumbest lawyer to have ever responded to a notice of liability. And wow, good job on that. Now that you've done this, I can give you an idea of how you should respond now at this point, and that would be to provide the laws that your client is relying on to deprive people of their liberty, their constitutional liberty, and their constitutional right to security. Getting it deprived is a violation of law. And so you're going to have to come up with the laws that you're relying on in order to justify the use of authority, to justify the denial of informed consent, and to use coercion, economic coercion. It's going to be great to see what you come up with there, you weasel. And if you can't come up with anything, I think it would be well within your best interests to make sure that you revise your statement and inform the union representatives what their lawful responsibilities are in defending the union, which is the people. All right? You aren't the union, and the people that hired you are not the union. Just remember that. And if you are in this union, I really encourage you to make sure that your representatives are completely taken out of those positions, because they have absolutely no business being in them if they're not going to have your best interests in mind. And folks, if you need help with any of this, if you're getting these kinds of treatments from your employer, we'd be happy to help you out in whatever ways that we possibly can. Reach out to me either with comments or private messages are great as well. And I look forward to hearing more stories about how companies are dropping these ridiculous and unlawful policies. And I also look forward to hearing more from idiots like Leanne. It's great. It's entertaining, and it provides some great content for other people to help learn about the law and how it's on their side, and that they can practice informed consent because this is an experiment. So thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Talk to you later.